It's blue. And coming right off the bat is some self-indulgent stuff with a character design of my beloved childhood stuffed bear, Trixie. And I got her a while ago. It just feels like I've had her my whole life. So she's probably a teenager by this point because I got her at some point in the 2000s. And she's named after the black girl from American Dragon. And why is Trixie my fave in the show? Because she was black?
Correct!
Yes. So anyways, we're gonna be like just looking at her traits just as a bear. And then I'm also gonna take some inspiration from the character that she's named after, because I feel like that's a good like base to start off of when it comes to character design. So with Trixie as a bear, she's ginger, slay, and she's missing one eye. I couldn't tell you what happened. She's just always had one eye for as long as I can remember. And she has some like stitching up on her side because there was a point in time where she started to rip, and then I gave her bootleg surgery, so she's doing well now. And she's just a great bear overall. Love her. And then I just want to give her like certain traits. So just the first one that flew to my head is that she loves Lucy Dacus. Dacus? I've never said her surname out loud, now that I think about it. But I love her, and so does Trixie because I said so. So yeah, let's get into the design. As for Trixie, the character, Trixie Carter, that is her full name in the show. I'm using her, like the first version, I guess you could say, of the show's outfit. So her outfit was basically like this short cropped hoodie on top of a plain colored long sleeved shirt, and it was like a crop top, chunky belt, and baggy kind of cargo-ish pants. So Y2K, love that for her, which makes sense, it was literally a 2000 show. Also, I forgot that in American Dragon, Dante Basco voiced Luke. What was his name? Lucas. Yeah, Dante Basco voiced him, so we all love Dante Basco, voice of a generation. But anyways, so going off of Trixie's like character design from the show, I wanted to kind of emulate this with like what she has going on up top. So like that like kind of layering of the shirts, because I think that's pretty cool. And then on my Trixie's like character design, obviously, you know, adding in a bear motif somewhere, and definitely some kind of ginger afro moment because slay. Oh, and freckles, yeah, because she's ginger and whatnot. And also trying to factor in like her missing eye and her scarring, so like the stitching and everything like that. But I'm wondering whether I should give her like just bangs on one side or an eye patch like an emo anime character. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working with right now just for the design. And as for like additional references that I got, I went to Old Faithful Pinterest and just looked up some like Y2K streetwear type styles, and I found some different pictures with what I was looking for, and I liked the idea of like a lot of jewelry stacking, which makes a lot of sense, you know, so jewelry, earrings, all that. I'm a big fan of accessorizing with my OCs and everything. So here I was just planning out like trying to narrow down how I want her hair to look, because I was struggling with that a bit. And then I finally like landed on the kind of afro-ish or curly style, because her hair is more loose the way I drew it. Curly hair that I was going for. Less kind of like half up, half down, and more just like I'm fighting not to say an Ice Spice fro, but for lack of better terming right now, an Ice Spice fro. But not exactly. Please, this is not like an Ice Spice OC. Not that I mind, like Ice Spice is cool. Anyways, whatever. So yeah, now I've started with the actual illustration, so yay. Again with Pinterest, I went to my Pinterest board where I have a bunch of my art resources and stuff. If anyone would want to see that, I can share the link, but yeah. So I found this picture, and these days I really realized the importance of using references. Like before, I used to be that person who was like, I don't need a reference, but when I do use references, it's like it makes my life so much easier. And it's like, why don't I do this more? Like, why do I make my life hard for no reason? But anyways, so that was a reference. I just thought this pose was real cute and I thought it would suit her very well. So yeah, so here I am just like drawing up her outfit and making it all cute and everything, and I think that really suits her, like the pose and everything. I quite like it. And over here I'm just now sketching up like some more goofy sketches, I guess you could say. I found this one picture on Pinterest of this girl. I don't know if she's a model or something. She looks like one of those Pinterest it girls, but either way, she was wearing a shirt that said Gay Ella, and I thought that was pretty funny. And then there's one with Trixie crying to Lucy Dacus's song Fool's Gold because same. And then just a cutesy one, and this one was funny where I narrowed down her outfit as I liked it. So instead of a hoodie up top, it's kind of like a cropped shirt. Like a cropped shirt, and then the long sleeves, and then the cargo pants, and like the kind of chunky belt with like a bear on it, but there's also a bear on her shirt, and some hoop earrings because slay, and a few necklaces. And one thing that I was keeping in mind with its character design was, because for me, my character designs usually are also story driven, so I'm not someone who necessarily just makes characters for the sake of making characters. So usually my process is like I'll have a story in mind and then I develop my characters from there, which is how I work. So I'm more like plot driven, but other people just make characters for the sake of making characters. So this was really kind of a challenge for me because there's not necessarily a world that I'm having in mind, which is sort of aiding her design. But either way, so this design compared to some of my other ones is not as like I guess whole rounded as it could be. I feel like if there was a world that she was a part of and like a plot around it, then I could really like, you know, make a design. But either way, this was still fun. It was a great exercise and I definitely enjoyed it. I don't really draw things like this, so it was a nice challenge. So here I finally hammered down the pose, you know, using your references, all that from Pinterest. Found this cute one of this like photo shoot model and I thought the pose suited her. So here I'm actually drawing like the actual outfit, so I'm getting my sketch down. And recently these days, usually I'm like a sketch, line art, color, highlights and shadows on top kind of artist, but these days I've been rendering more, so I really like the look of rendering. So this piece, I didn't like fully render it to the Gills render, but I did render it. So here I'm doing the actual sketch and I'm really liking it. And how I know if a piece is going to turn out good is if I enjoy the sketch. If I don't like the sketch, then there's not much hope. But yeah, so she's like talking on the phone, a flip phone, because Y2K, and we love that. Then her stacked necklaces is like a sort of like gem rock moment, and then there's a star because hello, she's a blue OC. Of course there's going to be stars somewhere on the outfit. And then there's a little bear on a necklace too. So yeah, so here then I'm just doing some little background details. Another thing, usually I just leave my characters like floating in the void like most people do, but yeah, I've been also trying to do like little backgrounds or like decorate the back sometimes. So yeah, I'm just putting some little accents and details that I think kind of suit the vibe. Those like circles, I had a very specific image in mind. It's like Bratz purple. Like in Bratz, there's this one background that they would use in a lot of their movies where it was like purple and there were like these spiral swirl thingies and there was this very specific shade of purple. If I can find a picture, I'll input it here because that has just lived in my mind rent free. But anyways, yeah, I'm coloring her in, trying to give her like a skin tone consistent with like her coloring as a base. So she's heavily leaning more orange toned without looking orange, you know, she's not giving Cheeto. So making her sort of like, you know, more warm, and then also what shade of ginger I want to give her specifically, keeping true to the color of her actual fur. And then the coloring of the actual outfit, I was like, okay, she's red-headed green, because one thing about red-headed girls, when they wear green, it's just like, it's just great, which is, it's literally basic color theory, but I don't know, man, it just scratches an itch in my brain. So either way, I knew that, okay, there's going to be green somewhere here, so I went with the darker green, pink as an accent, and then I was trying to figure out what color to make like this undershirt that she's wearing. And at first I made it a dark color, then at some point, I think it's coming up, then I just made it like white. Then I was like, nah, white isn't like necessarily what I'm going for here. So at some point I then color picked the color of her paws, like Trixie's actual paws, and it's sort of like this like really light like buttery yellow. And once I did that, then I made that the color of the undershirt, and that looked a lot better and more cohesive. There I'm just adding some of the scarring on the side, like the stitching. It's kind of covered by her clothes, unless I like drew her naked or something, which no. But anyways, now I'm coloring in the accessories, giving her Converse the same color as her hair to kind of make like a sandwich type look. I've been seeing people talk about that, sandwiching your outfits, yada yada, these days, so trying that out, I guess. And I kind of like how it pulled everything together. I really think I ate with the colors on this, I won't lie, and I just picked them off the fly. Also on her flip phone, I gave her some like dangling charms because cute. Then just some highlighting to sort of distinguish the two figures in frame, you could say. So here I was like finishing up the coloring and doing the background, and then I'm gonna start the actual rendering soon. Then here I'm starting to like pick the background, kind of what I want to do. And here I was doing what I said earlier, color picking the color, adding some of the scarring underneath her eye bang. I opted for no eye patch because I just feel like it would look strange. See, again, this is where like if it was like a fantastical world, depending on the setting of the world, something like an eye patch wouldn't be out of place, you know. So either way, because I'm just like, okay, if I'm just going for like a sort of normal slice of life AU type thing in my mind, which is what she's sort of in, if I'm thinking about it, then an eye patch would kind of be like, well, not strange, because some people do wear eye patches if they need them, but either way, I'm just trying to think of like what she would opt for, and I think she'd rather just like cover her eye with her hair. But either way, I'm thinking too hard about it. But yeah, I really quite like, so now I'm starting the rendering, and I really love rendering. I used to always look at artists who'd render and be like, oh, I wish I could do that. Then once I finally figured out how to render, so if that's something people are interested in, like seeing how I render, I definitely like to make a video on that. But yeah, once I figured out how to render like in a way that suited me, it really kind of like changed my whole life, because before it always looked so complicated seeing other people do it, but figuring it out for myself, I was like, wait, this actually makes sense. So yeah, very much a fun time. Here I'm just rendering her face on the first one. She looks really pretty. I quite like this design, and I was thinking that if I really liked her design and how it came out, then I would like use her as like a little background Easter egg, or as like an extra in one of my comics that I want to make, because I have like a bunch of OC worlds, because I make OCs based on worlds, not necessarily designs. So I have like 7 OC worlds, so I'll pick the one that she fits the most and then stick her in there as an extra, so whenever I make a comic or whatever, she'll be there in the background and it'll be a cute shout out, I guess. And I have more stuffed animals that I'd love to recreate, but I don't have like physical access to them right now. So Trixie's the one that I have because she helps me sleep. So when I get more of my stuffed animals, I definitely, you know, love doing that kind of design. This is very self-indulgent, but yeah, my stuffed animals, my dolls that I used to play with a lot when I was younger as well. But those ones, I think that'll also be really fun because, again, all my life I've just been more of a story-based person, so I could design them based on what their kind of story was and what their relations were with each other, that kind of thing. Like with my dolls, I had Ever After High dolls, Monster High dolls, Moxie Girl dolls, that kind of thing, you know. Fun enough, I never had any Barbie dolls, but either way, yeah. So here I'm starting the rendering on the second piece's face, on the back figure's face. And this one, I like that hand on the side. Please don't talk about that hand on the side. Like, even as I was sketching it, I was like, what's going on to this hand? And I was like, you know what, I'll figure it out later. even just looking at it now, I'm like, I really don't know what that hand was supposed to be emulating, but I make a plan. So I literally changed the whole positioning of that hand, because just looking at it now, it's like, what is actually happening there? So yeah, don't worry, I fixed the hand later, and I'm just rendering, and because this piece is like zoomed out further on her face, I didn't want to add as much like detail, if that makes sense. The first one I like showed the nose, everything like that, but this one I was like, I think I can make it look a bit more simple, adding the scarring for her eye, you know, just making it look real cute and all that. So here's when, like what I was talking about earlier, I fixed that bloody hand. It was not looking how it was supposed to be looking. So here's me going in on that hand and fixing it. And I think by this point I was like 2.5 hours in, because I think I spent a total of like almost 4 hours on this piece. See, that's the one thing about rendering. It looks so beautiful, but it takes so long. Before, I would always see artists who would be like, oh, this piece took me 10 hours, and be like, girl, what's going on? But looking at it myself, now that I've started rendering, I'm like, I can really see how that happens. Because before, when I was just doing like my usual sketch, line art, color, basic shading like routine, a piece would take me max 2 hours, like an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours, which I guess some people would still consider that a lot of time, but I feel like for artists, like an hour and a half for a piece is not much, girl. Like, you can spend an hour and a half on just a sketch, so a whole piece being done in an hour and 30 minutes is like, that's fast. So that used to be like my average time, but now with rendering, I'm lucky if it's under 2 hours. Like, literally it can take me almost 45 minutes just for the sketch and then the actual rendering piece. And I don't know, but it's really worth it to me because I love how it looks. So here I fixed that hand, and I kind of my solution was to kind of just cover it with hair. But you know what, don't judge me. That hand positioning was like scaring me, and I was like, you know what, I can't be asked to go look for references right now. So yeah, but don't follow me. Go look for references if you're struggling with something. So either way, I mainly like rendered like her face and hair, and then the rest I like lightly cleaned up because it was mostly cleaned up already. So I mainly just rendered up her face and hair, you know, just to like neaten it up and like really clean up the face, because I feel like in my sketch portion the face is always what gets like the most messy in the sketching portion. So I think I always spend the longest time rendering the face. And also, it's just fun rendering the face and hair. My favorite part of drawing is hair. I love drawing hair, love it. Now I'm just adding those highlights, so like the whites, to sort of separate and add contrast between the different elements of the piece that I feel like might be kind of muddying together or blending in with each other. So just adding in extra bits, stray pieces of hair, you know, slay. So just also rendering a bit of the details that she's holding that weren't super clear. Like, again, the hands. This hand looks a lot better than that other hand. I'm actually going to stop talking about that other hand because it's pissing me off a little bit, but it's fine. So this hand I actually liked. It also gave me a little bit of trouble, but not as much as the other one. So anyways, just again differentiating between the two pieces, because I'm like, okay, they were blending together just a wee bit. So yeah, cleaning that up, just making it look cute and all that. And we're almost wrapping up with the sketch, so I'll just let the speed paint finish off, and then I'll see you again for the outro. So here's the final piece. Yay! I'm really happy with how it came out. For a fairly simple design, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't feel like a full design to me, simply because she's kind of just floating in the void. I don't have many just void floating OCs. Even when I have a moment where I'm like, oh, I really want to make an OC right now, I look through my world and I'm like, okay, who needs what? And then I just make someone that'll fit in there, you know, because I also do just love good character design, I can't lie. So yeah, so here's the final product, and I'm just gonna put a side by side with Trixie as well, just a little video of her working her stuff. Love Trixie, she's the lady of the moment, love her, mwah, she's so sweet. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. And I actually have something kind of cool planned for next week, so definitely click the bell and subscribe if you're interested in seeing it, because I'm very excited for it. So yeah, just a little hint, it's gonna be about different fandoms and stuff like that, so definitely look forward to it in case it's one that you're into. So anyways, bye, see you guys next week.